Hello everybody, let's talk about the impact of the tariff war on the Chinese economy this year. As you know, the Chinese government made 5% as the target of this year's GDP growth, while the ongoing tariff war slowed down the Chinese economy and making the 5% goal unreachable. Now, my view is the opposite. My view is that with the tariff war, or because of a tariff war, the 5% target is more likely to be achieved. Why is that? Because the tariff war actually pushed the Chinese government to speed up a lot of reforms necessary. What are they? Okay, specifically 3 items of reforms which should have been implemented and should have been implemented in a large scale, and it was delayed. It was not fully implemented, but now because of a tariff war, they will be jacked up and sped up in the process of implementation. Number 1 is to boost consumption, okay? And so far, the program is called trade-in program. That is, the government provides cash for consumers to give up their old consumer durables and then they buy new ones, okay? This is a trade-in program. And because of tariff war, the trade-in program is now expanded to even more products, including mobile phone, including iPads, okay? And in addition to this trade-in program, because of tariff war, it's very likely to implement a policy which people like me have been proposing for over 2 years. That is to give cash subsidies to consumers when they buy goods, whether it's buy goods or services, whether they are buying a new pair of shoes or go dining, whatever. When they check out, they use mobile phone, okay? The mobile phone, China has this technology. When they pay the restaurant or when they pay the stores, the government automatically would give 25% of co-payments to the consumer, okay? Of course, each consumer has an upper limit, say, for example, 5,000 yuan, okay, which is around $700 US, okay? So these kind of policies will be sped up, will be jacked up because of a tariff war, okay? Now, second area of policy is to speed up the swap of local government debt. Local governments have been very tight in their cash. They have accumulated a huge amount of debt. In total, it's 100% of GDP. So that local governments were delaying payments to some of their employees and delaying payments to their contractors. And the process has started for the central government to issue new debt to swap out the local debt in essence, okay? But this process will, again, be amplified, be sped up because of tariff war, okay? This year, the total amount of debt issued by the central government is around 12 trillion RMB, which is roughly 8% of GDP. And this number can easily increase by 1%, okay? Another set of policies which will be sped up, which will be pushed to a fast track thanks to the tariff war, is reforms to eliminate restrictions on consumption. Let me give you an example, okay? I mentioned this before, okay? In China, over 170 cities have a ban, total ban of ownership of motorcycles. And in most cities where motorcycles are allowed, ownership motorcycles are allowed. Motorcycles are not allowed to be used in inner parts of cities, okay? So all in all, Chinese motorcycles are not running as high a gear as is possible, okay? Many young people are trying to buy their motorcycles in order to make long trips, to have excursions, to have long trips, to go with their friends, to go racing, to modify. Okay, we calculated that as high as 1 trillion RMB in the amount of associated consumptions of motorcycles will be jacked up, which is around 0.7% of GDP. Okay, so all in all, will this be enough to offset the tariff impact on Chinese economy? Yes, more than enough. Why? Because the total export from China to the US is around 2.77% of GDP last year. And all the things I mentioned can add up very easily to more than 2.77%. By the way, 2.77% of Chinese export to the US cannot be totally eliminated because many of the goods American consumers buy cannot be replaced by other places in the world. The only place of production oftentimes is in China. So all in all, my point is that with the proper policy response, by jacking up the intensity of consumption stimulus and also swapping out local debt, will help the Chinese economy to reach its goal of 5% this year. By the way, the first quarter's number is 5.4 year on year. The first quarter's GDP growth of Chinese economy versus first quarter of last year, 5.4, much higher than last year's 5.0 for the whole year. Okay, any questions, comments, please leave them at the bottom of my video. Thank you very much.